Alright, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Untitled Chapter. So I wanted to make a video about the legendary bodybuilder Charles Glass. Now, many of you may know who Charles is because he is currently known as the trainer of the champions. There are many videos of him on YouTube training in Gold's Gym Venice with various up-and-coming bodybuilders and current professional bodybuilders. So that's what he's known for today. And many of you have probably seen him around at bodybuilding expos, particularly at the Optimum Nutrition booth. And that's where I met him for the first time as well, at the Arnold Classic at the Optimum Nutrition booth. So despite the fact that he's known as the trainer of champions today, he actually had a very expansive bodybuilding career that spanned the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. He was known for his crazy conditioning and really just his overall lines and symmetry. So obviously today you have a lot of contest prep coaches giving diet advice, giving steroid advice, nutrition training, etc., etc. But Charles Glass is mostly known for his training methodology. He has a methodology where he tries to get his athletes to train the muscle in a different way than they would usually train it. So that's the focus of his training style, is hands-on personal training in the gym, trying to target the muscle from multiple different angles. So that's one of the main things that he preaches, is really hitting the muscle from as many possible angles as you can, different angles than you would usually hit it, and kind of trying to get that muscle past failure to a new degree than you've been able to get it to before. So his training focuses a lot less on drugs and nutrition and a lot more heavily on in the gym personal training. So that's what it means when they call him the trainer of champions. That's the aspect and that's the approach he takes to training. So really, in terms of his competitive career, it was not that memorable in terms of actual placings. He never won any major pro shows. He turned pro at the 1983 NPC Nationals after winning that. So in terms of some of his placings at major shows, at the 1984 Olympia, he placed 16th. At the 1985 Night of Champions, he placed 13th. At the 1989 Night of Champions, he placed 10th. At the Pittsburgh Pro in 1990, he placed 7th. And at the Masters Olympia in 1995, he placed 4th, which would be his best placing on an Olympia stage, period. So even though he didn't have that successful of a career in terms of actual placings, I think he did have a very, very iconic physique. And a very impressive physique at that. Not even just the conditioning. He had some pretty good overall size and aesthetics to him. And I know for my dad was a bodybuilder in the 80s. He looked up to Charles Glass as one of the best bodybuilders from that time period. And every time we go to the Arnold Classic together, my dad and I, he gets excited whenever he walks past Charles Glass. And I believe this past year, when we walked past him, my dad told him that he was an inspiration to him when my dad was growing up. And I'm sure that made Charles Glass feel pretty old since my dad's in his 50s. So I'm actually pretty impressed with what Charles Glass has been able to do, especially at his age. He's been a writer for the magazines. He's been very active on social media. And like I said, he's still a trainer, the trainer of champions. So he's trained guys like Dexter Jackson. I think he still trains Dexter out in Gold's Gym Venice. He's trained Kai Green. Back in the day, he trained Flex Wheeler. He trained Chris Cormier. He trained Victor Martinez. He trained Gunter Schlierkamp. So the list goes on and on of legend that he's trained. And today he still trains guys, I believe mostly up-and-comers now, and Dexter Jackson, like I said before. So really, he's still very active. He's very entrenched in the bodybuilding community and the bodybuilding scene, despite the fact that he hasn't competed since 1995, and that was in the Masters division. So overall, I just wanted to make a video showcasing what his physique looked like back in the day, because I feel like a lot of people don't really know about Charles Glass. They don't know how he looked back in the day. They just kind of see this old guy with dreadlocks and some videos on YouTube, making videos in Gold's Gym Venice training guys. They don't really know the backstory behind that guy. So this guy, again, he's got a career spanning multiple decades, crazy physique, crazy conditioning. He's not just some old guy with dreadlocks. I wanted to show you guys some of these photos where he looked very, very good back in the day. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.